Hey guys, what's up? This is Aaron. Today we're looking at the Tonetable app and we're testing how we can scratch in Ableton or other DAWs without using a turntable. That is, if you don't have a turntable but you have an iPad, I'm going to show you how you can add scratches to your projects in Ableton. So to do this, you're going to need several things. First, obviously, a computer with a VST host. It doesn't have to be Ableton. It can also be an audio unit host. If you're on Mac, you can use Logic, for example, or Cakewalk, Sonar, Reaper, any of the usual things. It's good to have a MIDI controller for crossfading as well. And of course, you're going to need an iPad or iPhone with the Tonetable app on it, which is this app you see here, which we'll talk about. So the Tonetable app is really simple. It just emulates time-coded vinyl, and all it does is play a solid tone, just like time-coded vinyl would. And when you scratch the turntable, you get scratches, which can be interpreted by certain plugins, which I'll show you in a minute, to be just like a time-coded record, which means you can scratch anything you want. All right? So let me show you how that works. First of all, we have to get that output, that solid tone, into the computer. So we just use the standard audio jack. We're going to open up Ableton now, and we can see that audio coming in on 3 and 4, for example, in my setup. So here it is. And if we were to monitor it, we can hear it coming through. But I'm going to put a plugin on here now. This is our plugin called the Scratch Track plugin, which you can get on the website. And this plugin reads time-coded vinyl. So, I'll show you how to set this up. Once we have the audio coming in, you can see it indicated right here by the vinyl in. If I then select it, I have to tell it what type of time-coded vinyl we're using. In this case, I'm telling Tonetable to do a 1 kilohertz sine wave, which is the same as Serato. But you may just have to try a few of them until you find the right one. Now that it's in Serato, as you can see, if I stop and move my finger, you'll notice it moving here on the test indicator in the control panel. You can play around with the advanced controls here, the gain, cutoff, and cutoff sharpness, but those are really just for actual turntables. If you have a loud turntable with a lot of noise, for example, you can play around with it so you get the best signal. So let's assume that that signal is going to work out, and I'm going to load up something to listen to. Right? And there it is. So it's a spin back. Go ahead and well, say we want something a little better for scratching. Let me just load up a cymbal. Alright, so now we've got audio loaded. We can hit play and scratch it. And if we have a backing beat, we can play that as well. And of course, record the output if you want. But let's take it to the next step. What we also want to be able to do is use the crossfade and maybe trigger samples. So I'm going to show you real quick what we have to do to get a MIDI learn function and map this crossfader. Here's a MIDI track, which is taking all the MIDIs in, and we're going to route those now to our second channel, which is where our second track, where we have Scratch Track. And we're going to tell it to record, which essentially just passes through the MIDI. Now we go over to Scratch Track, we right click, and we tell it we want to MIDI learn the crossfade. Then move the crossfader and you're in business. I'm going to do the same thing down here for the audio, for the play button, and pick a play button. And you see it then plays. If the crossfade is backwards from what you want it, you can invert the crossfader, put it in what's called hamster style right here. So now it's where I want it. We can... There you go. The crossfade is pretty responsive. Ableton's reasonably good about picking up fast MIDI. I recommend the Tractor Z1 because the MIDI coming out of this crossfade is very, very, very fast. There's other comparable products like this by Behringer. I don't recommend this because this crossfader is not nearly as fast, even though it's got a lot of other great features. So once you've got your MIDI controller hooked up, you've got your MIDI mapped, you've got your sound routing so that you can scratch, you're ready to record some scratches. And that's all I got. Enjoy it, guys.
Play it,